Alright, so this is gonna be kind of like a mini rant video, kind of. It's just about Danganronpa spoilers, because Danganronpa spoilers are kind of everywhere. And I think the fan base has to stop. I mean, it's 2020, Danganronpa is bigger than ever. And people are just spoiling it, which is sad, because a lot of new people are getting into the franchise. Now, if you're someone who's new to Danganronpa, I'm warning you, there's spoilers in this video, so click off this video. But before that, I want you to clear your search history. That's right, clear your search history. And do not look up anything Danganronpa ever again until you've played all 3 main games. Alright, that's my warning. That's what I'm telling you to do. Because that's what you should do. Alright, if you search up anything Danganronpa, which you shouldn't, just clear your search history right after that, and you should be good. Now that everyone who has played all 3 Danganronpa games are here, I will tell you how to not spoil it for the new people. So let's go through some of the spoilers. So first, comments, obviously. If you're gonna spoil something from Danganronpa, in comments, write spoilers, press the space bar a few times, like a lot, and then post what you're gonna say. Don't just post the spoiler, because there's some people that haven't played Danganronpa, right? You don't want to spoil it for anyone. And like, I don't know, if you're watching a Phoenix Wright Let's Play, for example, right? And don't post a Danganronpa spoiler on the Phoenix Wright Let's Play, because a lot of people from there might want to play Danganronpa, and if you spoil it, it's gonna ruin the experience. Second, let's address Junko spoilers, because Junko gets spoiled a lot. And look, I know Junko's a really interesting character. I know you want to talk about it a lot and stuff, but if you can, just try not to talk about Junko, because Junko's everywhere and it's spoiling it for people who play the first game. Because in the first game, Junko gets killed off right away. So people, they get confused. They're like, why does everyone, post Junko stuff? People that are playing these games are gonna catch on to that, and they're gonna realize that Junko is more important than she actually seems in the beginning of the game. Now, if you're a cosplayer or someone like that, like if you're cosplaying Junko, that's fine, because that takes a lot of effort. I'm not going to take anything away from that. So if you're doing something like that, go for it, because that's just something that takes a lot of time. It's like an art. If you're posting Junko art, sure, that's fine too. Yeah, just if you can, if you're able to, post a spoiler warning before you do that, if you can. Now the next thing is sprites. Now, Danganronpa characters get a lot of sprites, and some of these sprites get revealed later on. So, I'll give you an example right now. Mikan Tsumiki. For Mikan later on, she gets sprites that make her look really evil, and people post those sprites. So like, I don't know, just don't post those without a spoiler warning, right? And I'm not talking about like Danganronpa Reddits. I'm talking about like just Twitter, just anywhere that like everyone can see it, right? Just make sure you put spoilers, because people will catch on to that and they'll be like, whoa, Mikan is a little crazy, before they get to chapter 3. So moving on, the Kaiati Shuichi twist. Now I have a thumbnail that might seem like it's spoiling the Kaiati Shuichi twist. When I rank the top 3 Danganronpa games, I have the 3 protagonists on it, on the thumbnail. So I have Hajime, Makoto, and Shuichi. I don't consider that a spoiler, just because if someone who hasn't played the 3 games saw that, they might just be thinking I put those 3 together because they look nice. Originally, I was planning to put Kaiati there, but the thing was, Kaiati and Hajime's photo were kind of facing the same direction, so I was like, it doesn't look good, I'll just put Shuichi instead. But yeah, just don't do anything like Kaiati dead, or the jokes. Like, just don't post those around the internet. Like, okay, if it's Danganronpa specific content, fine. Just, say spoilers and you're all good. But if it's from, if you're, I don't know, watching a Let's Play in another game or something like that, just don't do those things. It might spoil it for people. I think a perfect example of a Kaiati Shuichi spoiler is actually Claire de la Lune. Like the song, if you go to that song on YouTube, there's a lot of people just talking about Kaiati dying. And yeah, I know what you guys are all saying. No Danganronpa fan is gonna just, wander into Claire de la Lune. But Claire de Lune is very, very popular. Like, you know how many views that thing gets? That thing gets a lot of views. So if you got someone who just played Danganronpa 1 or played Danganronpa 1 and 2, and all of a sudden they're watching Claire de Lune or they're listening to it, and they go through the comments and they see a Kaiati dead comment, that's gonna spoil it for them. You know, stuff like that. All the little things. It's the little things that catch people off guard. Stuff like that can really spoil stuff. So that's what I'm saying. Danganronpa spoilers in other videos outside of Danganronpa just really catches people off guard. And that could be the way they get spoiled by something as major as Kaiati's death. Now let's go to titles. Titles are kind of weird because, you know, for video titles, if you want someone to watch your video, you need a good title. You need a very enticing title, right? So in this case, yeah, I guess there's a little bit of leeway for spoilers, but just try to be very conservative with the spoilers. That's all I can say. Titles are the one little gray area in this. Another thing is hyping up characters. You know, if you hype up a character like Nagito, you're like, Nagito is like the best character ever. Nagito is like so amazing. I love him. If you hype it up, and someone keeps seeing that, then they go to Danganronpa 2 and they're sort of questioning. They're like, huh, why does this guy like Nagito so much, you know? And then they get to the big reveal. It might not be as impactful as if they went to it blind. So stuff like that. And last, V3. Like the title, V3, right? Don't call it 53. I've seen this so many times. This is probably one of the most spoilery things I've seen, which is kind of crazy. A lot of people say Danganronpa 53. Like just out in the open, and it's like, what? That's one of the twists. You can't say that. There's a reason why they said V stands for victory. I don't know when this started, but people were like, the V3, the V in V3 stands for victory. That was what everyone thought going into it at first, but now everyone's saying 53. So people are getting that spoiled right away, and it's crazy. Just please don't do any of these things. And yeah, that's my little rant. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Just how to stop spoiling stuff. How to stop spoiling stuff for people so people can have a fun time with Danganronpa. Because in 2020, a lot of people are playing it. A lot. More than ever. More than ever. So yeah. Now, technically, this is the end, but I actually ran into spoilers for a fan game. So this fan game is Super Danganronpa Another 2. So if you want to hear stuff about this, stay. If you don't, you can just leave right now. I finished all my points for the main games, but for this one fan game, I don't even think it's the creator's fault or anything like that. It's just people post spoilery thumbnails. And what I'm mainly referring to is the climactic inferences. So that little section where the protagonist does the little comic book, you know, she solves the case. And then at the end, it's the face-off between her and the culprit, right? They show a picture where you see the protagonist and then you see the culprit. Now, in the original games, this isn't really too much of a spoiler, but in Super Danganronpa Another 2, some of these photos spoils the culprit. And in some cases, it narrows down who the culprit could be. So these photos are just very spoilery thumbnails, and I feel like people just have to replace the image. Like, they have to just choose another thumbnail, because some of these are just like horrific spoilers. It's crazy. Some of these spoil a lot. So I just think for this specific fan game, there's been way too many spoilers going around. Not only that, there's just been too many spoilers throughout the game. It's not just the climactic inference photos. It's a lot more scenes. I don't want to get into specifics, but if you watch Super Danganronpa Another 2, you gotta clear your search history as well. Like, it's crazy how much stuff gets spoiled. So yeah, right after you're finished watching an episode of Super Danganronpa Another 2, just clear your search history. I've been spoiled so many times. It's insane. I don't blame the creator for it, obviously, because obviously he didn't spoil anything, right? It's just, I don't know, people go around and the thumbnails that are posted are just very spoilery. So yeah.